Rise and shine, Value Farm family. Welcome back to another episode of The Farm. If you're new here, you are most welcome. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and also turn your notification bells not to miss out on any videos on the channel. And of course, to all our returning subscribers, thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for being part of the family, and thank you so much for believing in what we are doing at Value Farm. Well, we are back at the farm and it's really very interesting. It's a very sunny day today, very beautiful. Everything is just amazing at the farm. And of course, we are here to share our knowledge, to encourage you guys, to inspire you guys, to motivate you guys on farming, and also so much more that you need to really expect from the videos that we provide here. I also have my co-director on standby, who is going to say hello to you guys and also introduce himself to you if you're watching him for the very first time.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Grafton, also known as Gregory. I'm really blessed and grateful to be a part of this team, co-director, but more than anything, just a lover of animals and farming. So I don't want to say I'm just a passionate farmer, but my heart bleeds farming. So it's always a blessing to have you guys along with us. And it's always a real treat to be here with my goods. For those of you out there, even though I love the pigs, I am the goat guy, okay? Not just goat, but goats and sheep. But we'll get into that another time.
I know you're the goat guy because you have the eye for the goats. That is the truth, guys. Because most of the time, when you're going to buy these goats, he has the perfect eye for these goats.
So guys, listen, we're back at the farm here. We're obviously standing here in the goat's palace, the pen, whatever you want to call it. But I wanted to discuss with you guys today, when it comes to you, when you decide to get into farming, right? Let's say you choose goats. Now, a lot of you think it's as simple as deciding to choose either meat production or breeding or dairy production, right? But there's a lot more that goes into it because, number one, you need to decide the specific breeds of goats you're going to have at your farm, because that will also dictate the level of care and management you're going to have to actually prepare yourself for. Because where we're standing, we have a mixture of goats here, right? We have some Savannahs here, we have some Boers, we have a whole bunch. But in this place at the farm, we have a multitude of different breeds. There's a reason we did this, right? As we continue to go for purity, as we continue to then decide to segregate the flocks, right? Where we just keep all the Savannahs together, all of the Boers together, and all of the Movende crosses together until we can get their percentage to a level that we're comfortable selling to you guys as either high percentage crosses or simply crosses that we're breeding and we're growing for meat production, right? But that will dictate the level of care, because if you have Boers, for all of you out there, I love how these Boers look. They're cute, they're exotic. Many people have never seen them before. True. Well, there's a reason for that. These are considered exotic, and you cannot treat your exotic goat the same way you treat your local goat.
Yeah, that is so true, because the exotic goats are exotic. The local ones are of course adapted. But what I've really realized with all of these animals, with all of the stock that we have here, they are resistant. All of them, as long as they get the right treatment on time, like they're really taken care of very well. As long as they feed very well, as long as they have the right grass in the farm, I think they survive. That's what I'm really thinking.
Yeah, but also, so let's talk about mindset, right? Because that's a key component to being a farmer. You can have the money, you can have the breeds, you can have the right intentions in terms of you getting into farming. Unless you have the right mindset, unless your heart and mind and your level of dedication is in alignment, you might be in trouble. Because many people get into this business thinking like, oh, I can just get into goats because there's money in it.
Exactly.
I can get into goats because it's easy. The truth of the matter is, goat rearing is a very challenging aspect of farming. Unless you understand your breeds, unless you understand how to manage those breeds, you're gonna suffer tremendous losses. And you out there, wherever you guys are watching from, the idea when you get into this venture is for you to become profitable, for you to make money, for you to become productive. This is a gateway to get you from working your 9 to 5 or 8 to 6, wherever you might be, to actually granting you freedom of choice when it comes to actually just making your own schedule, calling your own shots, and getting back to nature and doing the good Lord's work, which is feeding a nation, right? No matter how big or small. So getting in that right mindset is key. That actually should probably be like right up there at the top of your list, because unless your heart is in it, unless you've done your research, unless you understand the practicality of being a farmer, this could be a very, very challenging road, because we want you guys to succeed, not to struggle, not to crawl to the finish line. We want you to be able to sprint right out of the gate. What do you think?
That is so true. Research. We've really told you guys all the time that do your research in case you really want to concentrate on the meat production goats, on the dairy goats. Please do your research. Make sure you know how to take care of them. Like my partner said, as long as you have the mindset, you have the passion, you have the guts to go and research, read, watch videos on YouTube and how you can take care of the animals, from the structures, from the medication, management all together, so that you can be successful. Because without this knowledge, guys, you're going to fail. You'll regret when you start already and you're failing in the beginning, because every business that begins, of course, there's so many challenges. Because you're learning, you're getting into the business, you don't know how to do things properly, you're going to fail. So as long as you have the correct research, you'll avoid so many mistakes that you're going to begin with. And also be open-minded as well. Be open-minded to new technology, because things are evolving. Most people research, and maybe that the research that you have is for the olden days. Be up to date. Make sure that you're always going ahead for the current information, so that, of course, your production can be successful.
Actually, that's a wonderful point. When it comes to research and information, let me just look straight into this camera and talk to you, my brothers and sisters out there. When you decided in your career, for those of you who wanted to become engineers, doctors, lawyers, whichever field you call a profession, you actually had to be trained. You actually had to go to school. Many of us don't like the idea of paying school fees, right? But it's a fact of life. Same thing applies to farming. Guys, farming itself is a career path, right? You can't just wake up and decide you want to be a farmer and don't want to actually educate yourself. And education comes in many forms. You're going to get the broad information from YouTube, you're going to get it from books, but by the same token, the most useful information you're going to have is the information you're going to get from practicing farmers, right?
Yeah.
And some of these guys, when you reach out to them, they're going to want you to pay a fee. That's part of educating yourself. That's part of arming yourself with the right knowledge in order for you to become successful. So many of you, whether you reach out to me and I speak to other farmers, some that are far more prominent than us, because we're just this humble farm trying to make it out here in this world. But when we speak to some of these other more experienced farmers, the number one mistake most of new farmers make is that they don't get the information. And when they do reach out for the information, when they offer consultation, they often don't see the value
of it.
And they don't really want to pay for it. At the end of the day, guys, in life, you get exactly what you pay for. So if you run out there, you're ill-prepared, you don't know what to do, then be ready to either have a very big contingency budget for your vets.
True.
Because a lot of these issues you're going to run with your flock, with proper training, right? You'll be able to identify which diseases, how to isolate, how to treat, and many of these you should be able to do by yourself. You should be able to train your staff to do by themselves. And we often talk about sending our staff out for training, investing into your staff, investing into your people. Well, if you're going to spend all this money on stocking up on the right breeds at your farm, doesn't it make sense for you to educate yourself? Most of you out there understand the value of knowledge, particularly in the specific field that we're discussing. I think the biggest mistake most people make is when you work for yourself, many of our family members and friends don't see your business as a real job, if you will, because you don't have to report to an office. You're not working for anybody else. But realistically speaking, when you work for yourself, the job is even more difficult because you have to have real discipline. Discipline to make sure that you're following instruction, discipline to know why you don't know, and also you have to be a professional. You have to run your farm like a real business, because unless you do so, you won't be in business for very long.
That is so true. About hands-on training with the staff. Guys, that is one of the things I was talking to one of the clients on phone, and because we showcase videos here on YouTube and all the information is there, so most of you maybe think, okay, that is enough. When we ask you, like, there's some consultation fee, it is like a taboo for some of you, like, to pay something, you know, so that we can have one-on-one consultation with you.
Just understand, whether you get it from us, whether you get it elsewhere,
True.
just not arm yourself with knowledge, because when we get your phone calls and you have an outbreak of pox at your farm, or you have hoof and mouth disease and you don't know what to do, we're not vets, but do we know how to treat those ailments? Of course we did. And how did that happen? Well, we had to actually hire people and actually pay those consultation fees, have folks come onto the farm to demonstrate, sent some of our staff out to other farms to be educated. You understand? So this is part of doing business. So when you make your budget, understand education and know-how, right? Imagine if you want to be a plumber. Can you just quit your regular job today and decide to want to be a plumber and you don't know anything about pipe and fixing pipes and actually how plumbing work as a profession? It's just common sense. Please continue.
That is so true. And guys, everyone who really wants to join farming, guys, we really welcome you. It is a very interesting, you know, journey.
It's never boring.
It's not boring. It is very therapeutic. That's what I should really say. Us coming to the farm every day, it's just something that I look forward to all the time. Because when you come to interact with the animals here, when you look at things, you know, even if, of course, we have the challenges that we get, but still there's that positive vibe that we get whenever we just reach the farm. And even like the morning sunrise, because when you're here early in the morning, the birds are out, the environment is quite different at the farm. So in case you really want to start your farm, guys, I really encourage you, start off as well. Of course, you guys are really motivated with the videos that we provide here. Guys, it's never too late for you to start. Most of you are scared for no reason, by the way. But if in case you start, you'll definitely go with it very well.
But you know what? In life, a healthy dose of fear is a very healthy thing to have. And what I want you guys to keep in mind, since this is part of managing and starting and running a farm properly, and I know this might not sit well with many of you, but I have to be honest with you, this is where we are. Please, when you're deciding on your manager, when you're deciding on who you're gonna turn your most precious investment to outside of your children, you cannot just depend on family. You cannot just depend on your best friend. This is not show business. This is not show friends. This is the actual career choice, right? You have to find the people that are qualified for the job. There's a reason why nepotism is not the way corporate America functions, right? Because when you just bring your brother on, and your brother is probably a teacher, never actually gave an injection to a goat, and you turn over your high-level investment to your brother, who's might still be interested in out there partying and living his life in Kampala, and then you out there in the UK, and you out there in Dubai, you out there sacrificing your time, your energy to earn, and you want to actually have this business for you, ready for you to come home. The sad fact is, guys, as much as we love farming, we know some of you are not able to be on the ground, and that's okay in many instances. But before you make this investment, we really truly urge you guys, make sure you understand what you're getting into. Make sure you understand the type of people you're going to be hiring way before you start buying your flock. Don't be reactionary, be proactive, okay? And your mother, as much as she loves you, might not be the most qualified person to run your farm or to run whatever business you have back on the continent here. You understand? Because at the end of the day, you know, the world we live in is ever shifting, sometimes for the good. Nowadays it's getting a bit darker, a bit more challenging across the globe. You know, a lot of people just don't have access to money, and I guess a way of life is becoming increasingly more and more difficult, and there's the answers are few. Right? So you have to be very, very careful
True.
when it comes to who you put in charge. You may love your wife, and I'm sure many of you do. She might not be the most qualified person for you to turn your farm over to. So we stress management, we stress training, we stress you being able to take somebody who has no farming experience at all. At times, those might be your absolute best candidate, because you could take a blank canvas and mold it and paint it into the perfect employee, right? Or as close to perfect as possible, because no one's perfect. That's the one bit of advice I hope you guys take away from this video. I know it's a bit long-winded, but please keep that in mind. Make sure you hire people that deserve to be there, not because you like them, not because they're relative, but because they have the necessary skills to run the ship.
That is so true. Guys, I hope you really learned one or two things from this video, because these are the essentials, of course, for any farmer out there, aspiring farmers who really want to join us, because we want you guys to join us as well. And we are really so glad when we see from the comments, when you guys tell us, you know, you started your farm, you're doing something like similar to what we are doing here, you're ready to come and buy breeds from us. Those are things that really make us really so happy. And you guys send us really very good motivating messages as well, and appreciation, by the way. You have some people, your diehards there, who really love
you, my God. But listen, I just want to also say to my diaspora brothers and sisters out there, those of you who have pledged to never do business back on the continent, I feel your pain. I understand. You know, we've gone through our own fair shares of challenges. But in life, when you face challenge, that's how you grow. That's how you get better. Just think of where you are. I don't care if you have a mop and broom and just at your disposal, if you're working as a janitor, if you're working as a baker, you still have requisite skills to come home and do something great.
True.
Yesterday, I actually had a meeting. I met with an individual that we're actually going to be leasing space to open our meat shop. And it was a chance encounter. I actually ran into a fellow diasporan like myself who lived in the U.S. for almost 40 years.
Wow.
And he decided that he was going to come back home and left his training, like his cushy salary back in Chicago, and decided to come back home. And now he owns one of the biggest farms in the region. Wow. He has multiple real estate development projects. He's a very well-respected figure in the community. And when I remember just sitting there and I asked him, but why did you come back after so many years? Like for me, I came back after 30 years of being abroad, right? Actually closer to 40, right? But the calling has to mean something to you.
True. You
could be home right now in the US, and I grew up in New York City, right? And I know you guys are having that cushy salary, but at what price? You know, to your soul, to your sanity. Many of you are making $200,000-$300,000 a year, but you are miserable. You hate your boss, you hate your job. The idea of getting out of bed is very depressing.
I know.
There's a reason why there's so many of you out there suffering with anxiety, depression. You know, it's not just loss of relationship, but it's a loss of your soul. It's a loss of your motivation because you don't really care about what you're doing. You know something? Your boss out there might not appreciate you. They might not see you. But my people, we need you back here. The continent needs you. Because let me tell you something. Your skill as a baker in the U.S., you might be making barely a little slightly above minimum wage, but you come here to Uganda. You start making real bread, like the real bread that you know and I know that we are accustomed to. New York City bagels, or whether you in LA, you don't understand how to make those fancy French baguettes, and you come back to the continent with that level of skill, of both production and management, my friend, you will not be struggling for very much longer. Okay. You know, you don't have to come with much capital. The biggest capital you have is what's up here. What you actually acquired while you've been overseas. You've suffered enough. Let me tell you guys a little bit about me. You guys already know. I spent many years in the financial sector. I love to joke around. I'm a recovering banker. You know, I left that career behind because I wanted to do something meaningful and I wanted to have an impact in my region. And with the Lord's blessing and very, very, very hard work and dedication from myself and my partner here, we've actually been able to achieve something great. Yes, we're still new, but the trends are pointing in all the right direction. And all I can tell you as we close out this long video, please forgive the long-winded video here, but I had to get this off my chest. You're not alone. There are many of you out there, really, 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 and you know I'm talking to you.
Wow.
You're suffering. You're not happy. Your marriages are suffering because at work, you're not happy. Your wife don't look at you the same because the man she married is a shell of himself. And it's not because you're not capable. It's because where you are don't need you as much as your continent needs you. So I urge you guys to heed this call to come back, plan appropriately, save your money, and again, do not sell the skills that you have short, whether it's at the executive level, at the entry or mid-level position, because the training you receive out there, Switzerland, Germany, wherever, can definitely have a far greater impact back home.
Wow.
So you're welcome.
Wow, wow, wow. That is a great message. At least you've heard from him. He's been there.
Living my best life in Uganda.
He's here enjoying.
It's not always roses, but you know what?
But
That's
at least,
part of the growth, and it's awesome.
It's really awesome, and we really appreciate you.
Thank you.
You know, for all your skills, for all your knowledge as well, that we've made Value Farm to be where it is right now. You know,
Well, I give credit to you. I give credit to the fans out there, to our supporters, our fellow farmers that write to us on WhatsApp, that follow us on Instagram. Please do not let the numbers remain pedestrian.
Yes.
You guys go out there and follow us on Instagram, Value Farm UG, because you get a lot more behind the scene content.
That is so
that
true.
you might find interesting.
And also Facebook, by the way. And do not forget to join membership as well in case you want to be part of the family. Become a member. Become a special person at Value Farm by becoming a member as well. Then we also have Patreon. That is it basically. But we love you guys so much. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.